Sir, I was very disturbed the other day, and when the distinguished Home Minister said the other day in the other house, why do we need this bill? After independence, if Congress had not done partition on the basis of religion, then we would have not needed this bill today. The Congress did partition on the basis of religion. I don't understand which history books the learned Home Minister has read, which authors he has consulted.
Entire political science.
But I would like to remind him of what Savarkar said. The two-nation theory was not our theory. You are going to fulfill it today by the passing of this bill if it is passed. Savarkar said, and I quote, "As it is there are two antagonist nations living side by side in India." That's not us. Several infantile politicians commit the serious mistake in supposing that India is already wedded into a harmonious nation, or that it could be welded thus for the mere wish to do so. These are well-meaning but unthinkable friends take their dreams for realities. That is why they are impatient of communal tangles and attribute them to communal organizations. The two-nation theory was perpetrated by Savarkar. And this is what Ambedkar said. He said, strange it may appear, Mr. Savarkar and Mr. Jinnah, instead of being opposed to each other on the one nation versus two nations issue, are in complete agreement about it.
Yeah, shame.
Shame. Both agree. Not only agree, but insist that there are two nations in India. One, the Muslim nation, and the other, the Hindu nation. I request the Home Minister to withdraw that allegation, because we in the Congress believe in that one nation. You don't believe in it. Sir, the next point, और गृह मंत्री जी ने सही कहा कि ये एक बड़ा ऐतिहासिक बिल है. हाँ, ऐतिहासिक बिल है, क्योंकि आप संविधान की बुनियाद को बदलने जा रहे हैं. इसलिए ये ऐतिहासिक बिल है. आप हमारे इतिहास को बदलने जा रहे हैं, इसीलिए ऐतिहासिक बिल है. और आपने ये भी कहा कि करोड़ों लोग एक नए सवेरे को कल देखेंगे. मैं आपसे ये भी इल्तिजा करना चाहता हूँ कि लाखों लोग की रात खत्म नहीं होगी, ये काली रात खत्म नहीं होगी. आप कहते हैं कि आपके प्रधानमंत्री जी सबका साथ और सबका विकास में विश्वास करते हैं. सबका विश्वास तो उन्होंने खो दिया, क्योंकि 2014 से लेकर अब तक सबका साथ उन्होंने कभी भी नहीं दिया. You said rise above politics. I request you, Home Minister, you rise above politics, because this is nothing but politics. You are destroying the future of this country. Sir, I have the following things to say and following objections about this bill. First, this bill gives legal color to the two-nation theory, which I have already stated. Two, religion cannot be a factor in the acquisition of citizenship that has been rejected by the Constitution of India. So there are three concepts that you must understand, which is the basis of citizenship. Number one, born in the territory of India. Number two, my parents were born in the territory of India, descent. And number three, that I am ordinarily resident in the territory of India. There is no fourth concept on the basis of which citizenship can be granted. So I might tell you something very interesting. I belong to a family which used to live in Lahore. I came to India and I was born here in 1948, but my brothers, my sister, my parents, my grandparents were all born in Pakistan. We were all refugees. When we came to India, we were not citizens of India. Why? Well, because we were not born in the Republic of India. Therefore, we were not citizens of India. But there was a provision in the Constitution which said that if you are born in an India of 1935, undivided India, then you shall be a citizen of India. But that was not the only thing. I had to become a resident of India. I had to come to India 6 months prior to July 1948. And if I came to India 6 months prior to that, I would have been a citizen of India. So residence, ordinary resident, bona fide residence is an essential element for being a citizen. For those who came after the 19th of July 1948, they had to file an application before an appropriate authority. And in that application, before they filed it, they should have been resident in India for the last 6 months. They too could not get citizenship. So that's the basis and the foundation of citizenship. That's why Mr. Chidambaram asked, who has advised you to do all this? Who has advised you? Who has given you that opinion from the Law Ministry and the Attorney General?
None.
Let me tell you something else now, sir. Under Article 11, there is a provision which says that through another act, through a law made by Parliament, somebody can acquire citizenship or terminate citizenship. That is the Citizenship Act. Now, so the Citizenship Act, some very interesting provisions. Let me just tell you just a couple of them. The Citizenship Act says that if you are born in the territory of India from January 26, 1950 to July 1, 1987, you shall be a citizen of India. If you are born in the territory of India from July 1, 1987 to when the 2003 bill has been passed, which was passed in 2004, which is the Citizen Amendment Bill, you shall be a citizen of India if one of your parents is a citizen of India. And if you are born after 2004, you shall be a citizen of India if one of your parents is a citizen of India and the other is not an illegal migrant. That is the condition of the Citizenship Act. If one of the spouses is an illegal migrant, you can't be a citizen of India. Now, sir, what amendment have you brought? Just think about it. What does your amendment say? Let me just tell you what it says. I'm sure you've read it. Provided that you are making an amendment to 2(1)(b). You say, provided that any person belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi or Christian community from Afghanistan, Bangladesh or Pakistan, who entered into India on or before 31st day of December 2014, and who has been exempted by the central government by or under Clause C of subsection 2 of Section 3 of the Passport Entry into India Act 1920, or from the application of the provisions of the Foreigners Act 1946, or any rule or order made thereunder, shall be treated as an illegal migrant, shall not be treated as an illegal migrant for the purposes of this Act. Now, please tell me, the Foreigners Act deals with people who are declared to be foreigners. The Passport Entry into Act deals with people who have entered into India without a valid document. And now in your objects and reasons you have said that these are all people who have been persecuted. Where is the provision for persecution in the Act? There is no provision for persecution. There is no provision for persecution. If a man came from Bangladesh or from Pakistan into India in 1972 and he has been an illegal migrant after 1972 till date, how will he prove, how will you say that he has been persecuted? Unless he says that he was persecuted. Amongst all the people who have come to India without any legal documentation, has anybody said that they have been persecuted? Do we have a law here which says that you apply and say that you are persecuted and you shall be granted citizenship? It's very interesting, Mr. Nadda in the course of his speech mentioned Dr. Manmohan Singh and what he said, but he didn't mention what Advaniji said. I wish he had. Because Dr. Manmohan Singh said, look, if people have been persecuted and they have come from our neighboring countries, you must give them citizenship. उनको नागरिकता मिलनी चाहिए. और अडवाणी जी ने क्या कहा? वो मैं आपको जवाब देता हूँ. उन्होंने कहा, there are various kinds of allegations made that you are making discrimination between this and that, which we do not propose to do. We always say that a person who has to flee because of religious persecution is a refugee, bona fide refugee. And he cannot be regarded on par with the illegal immigrant who may have come here for any reason, even for economic reasons. If he is an illegal immigrant, he is an illegal immigrant. This is what Advaniji said. Now, if these people are illegal immigrants, on what basis you say that they have been persecuted? Has anybody said that they have been persecuted? There are also other illegal immigrants, I won't name the religion they belong to, who have also come, who are also illegal immigrants. So how do you discriminate between one illegal immigrant and another illegal immigrant? एंड हाउ डू यू से, आप कैसे कह सकते हो कि ये लोग तो परसिक्यूट हुए थे? आपको कैसे मालूम कि वो परसिक्यूट हुए थे? मैं उदाहरण देता हूं। एक शख्स यहां 1972 में आया, 1972 में आया, उसके 2-3 बच्चे हैं, उसकी मृत्यु हो गई, आज वो है नहीं, उसके बच्चे कहते हैं मुझे सिटीजनशिप दो। आप कैसे दोगे? जिसकी मृत्यु हो गई वो तो कह नहीं सकता कि भाई वो प्रोसिक्यूट हुआ था, उसने कभी पहले कहा है भी नहीं। तो बच्चों को सिटीजनशिप कहां से मिलेगी? किस आधार पे दोगे आप? वो मापदंड क्या है? किसी ने कोई कहीं गया है, बोला है? इन ये जो लाखों लोग हैं जिनकी आप बात करते हो, 19 लाख, चलिए 19 लाख की बात करते हैं, उनमें कितने हिंदू हैं? 5 लाख है, 6 लाख है, 10 लाख है, 12 लाख, उसके बारे में बात नहीं करूंगा मैं। लेकिन किस ऐसे हिंदू ने कहा है कि मैं परसिक्यूट हुआ था? आपको साहब बड़ी गलतफहमी है। उन्होंने मालूम क्या कहा है अपने लेगेसी पेपर्स में? कि मैं तो यहां का रहने वाला हूं। उन्होंने सब डिक्लेरेशन दी है कि मैं तो यहां का रहने वाला हूं। आप उसको इस विधेयक के द्वारा झूठ बुला रहे हो।
प्लीज कंक्लूड।
जो शख्स 1 सेकंड सर, जो शख्स कह रहा है कि मैं तो हिंदुस्तान का रहने वाला हूं, आप उसको कहना चाहते हो नहीं नहीं तुम हिंदुस्तान के रहने वाले नहीं हो, तुम कहो तो तुम तो बांग्लादेश से आए थे और क्यों परसिक्यूट हो रहे थे, इसलिए हम आपको सिटीजनशिप देंगे। ये किस किस्म का कानून है? आप क्या कर रहे हो संविधान के साथ? आप धज्जियां उड़ा रहे हो संविधान से। आपका मकसद क्या है? आपका मकसद तो हमें मालूम है, 2014 से हमें मालूम है आपका मकसद क्या रहा है। कभी घर वापसी, कभी लव जिहाद, कभी ट्रिपल तलाक, कभी सीएबी, कभी एनआरसी, फिर दोबारा एनआरसी, मतलब के फिर 370। आपका लक्ष्य हमें मालूम है, आपका लक्ष्य मालूम है, आपका नजरिया भी मालूम है। आप नाम से, किसी के नाम से पता करना चाहते हो इस देश में वो रहेगा या नहीं रहेगा। आपने एक बड़ी आपत्तिजनक बात की शुरुआत में। आपने कहा कि वो जो मुसलमान यहाँ हैं उनको डर करने की जरूरत नहीं। किस मुसलमान के आपसे डर है? हिंदुस्तान का कोई मुसलमान आपसे डरता नहीं है। ना मैं डरता हूं, ना मैं डरता हूं, जहां इस देश के नागरिक डरते हैं, ना कोई मुसलमान डरता है। डरते हैं तो हम संविधान से डरते हैं, जिसकी आप धज्जियां उड़ा रहे हो।
Sir,
दूसरी बात सर, just I'm just finishing. Just my third.
There are 4 more speakers from your party.
Sir, few minutes.
4 more.
Just give me. Just third point, sir. They are targeting a community without naming it. In this bill, they are targeting a community without naming it. It violates the basic structure of the Constitution. It is divisive and exclusive. It will destabilize our polity, and 18 to 20 million people will not trust us. It weakens the foundation of our culture, of our beliefs, of our ethos. It has consequences that you can't even imagine. And this is part of your political strategy. The last thing I want to say, sir, is this, that this is legally tenable and legally reprehensible, morally reprehensible. Those who have no idea of India cannot protect the idea of India. Don't convert this Indian Republic into a Jurassic Republic where there are 2 dinosaurs. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I call the next speaker, this is for information of the leader of the Congress party that only 17 minutes left for the remaining speakers of your party. So accordingly, the time will be allocated.